What people actually notice. Imagine two people walk into a room. One is incredibly attractive. The other is average looking. Who gets more attention? Most people immediately answer, the attractive person. And they're usually right. For about 3 seconds. After that, something much more important starts happening. Because despite what the internet occasionally suggests, humans don't spend all day rating each other's facial symmetry. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves. Which is actually great news. Because becoming attractive is much easier than becoming perfect. And unfortunately, many people confuse the two. Let's start with a strange fact. If you ask people what makes someone attractive, you'll get wildly different answers. Some people like confidence. Some people like kindness. Some people like intelligence. Some people like humor. And some people apparently fall in love with people who own reptiles. Humans are weird. The point is, attraction is much less objective than people think. Now don't get me wrong. Physical appearance matters. Pretending it doesn't would be silly. Humans have eyes. We're visual creatures. But here's the part many people miss. Appearance gets attention. Personality keeps attention. Think about the most charismatic person you've ever met. There's a good chance you remember how they made people feel, not the exact shape of their jawline. One of the biggest myths about attractiveness is that it's something you're born with. As if attractive people emerge from the womb already confident and socially skilled. They don't. Most attractive traits are behaviors, and behaviors can be learned. Let's talk about confidence. Because confidence is probably the most misunderstood attractive trait on earth. People often think confidence means believing you're amazing. It doesn't. That's closer to arrogance. Confidence is simply being comfortable with uncertainty. It's walking into a room and accepting that not everyone will like you. Which sounds obvious. But many people spend years trying to avoid exactly that. Imagine trying to become everyone's favorite person. Impossible. You can't even become everyone's favorite flavor of ice cream. Some people dislike chocolate, which honestly raises a lot of questions. But the point remains. Universal approval doesn't exist. Many people accidentally become less attractive because they're constantly seeking validation. They change their opinions, change their personality, change how they act, depending on who they're around. At some point, nobody knows who they're talking to anymore, including them. People are generally drawn toward authenticity, not perfection. Now let's discuss something that creates more attraction than people expect. Listening. Most conversations aren't conversations. They're two people waiting for their turn to talk. Someone shares a story, and the other person immediately responds with their own story, which is normal. But rare people do something different. They become genuinely curious. They ask questions. They pay attention. They remember details. And surprisingly, people love being around people who make them feel heard. Another attractive trait? Having a life. That sounds strange. But many people become so focused on finding relationships that they accidentally stop building themselves. They stop pursuing hobbies, goals, interests, experiences, then wonder why conversations become difficult. If your entire personality becomes trying to date someone, you run out of material pretty quickly. The most interesting people usually have interesting lives. Not because they're trying to impress anyone, because they're genuinely engaged with the world. They learn things, build things, create things, explore things. Curiosity is attractive. Passion is attractive. Purpose is attractive. Let's talk about humor. Not because you need to become a comedian, but because humor does something powerful. It makes people feel comfortable, and comfort creates connection. You don't need perfect jokes. In fact, most people aren't funny because they're trying too hard. The funniest moments often happen naturally, usually right after something goes slightly wrong. Which means if your life is chaotic, congratulations, you have material. Now for the uncomfortable truth. There is no secret trick that makes everyone attracted to you. No perfect sentence. No magic text message. No hidden psychological technique. And honestly, that's good. Because the goal isn't attracting everyone. The goal is attracting the right people. A useful question is, would I want to spend time with me? Not in a self-critical way. In a practical way. Am I kind? Am I reliable? Am I interesting? Am I growing? Because the qualities we're attracted to in others are often the same qualities we should develop ourselves. If you'd like to learn more about human behavior and attraction, here are a few excellent books. Books, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. A classic book about communication, relationships, and making people feel valued. Books The Like Switch by Jack Schafer. explains the psychology behind trust, connection, and likability. Books Atomic Habits by James Clear. Not a dating book, but one of the best books for becoming the type of person people naturally respect and admire. Books The Charisma Myth by Olivia Cabane. A practical guide to confidence, presence, and social skills. Here's the reality. Being attractive isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming more comfortable being yourself, taking care of your health, developing confidence, learning social skills, building a meaningful life, and treating people well. Because while appearance might open a door, character determines whether people stay. And the people who spend their lives chasing perfection often miss something important. Most people aren't looking for perfect. They're looking for real. And real is a lot easier to become.